Have you ever stopped to think about what would happen if the foreign artificial intelligence models we rely on every single day were just turned off? I mean, think about it. These are the systems processing our financial records, our medical files, and our official government data. What if a foreign government decided to shut off our access during a geopolitical crisis? It sounds like a terrifying national security nightmare, right? When I first started looking into this, I honestly hadn't realized just how vulnerable our daily digital lives really are. But that looming threat is exactly why we're seeing a massive shift in how national infrastructure is being built today. So welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving deep into India's new Sovereign AI fortress, and we're looking at a truly historic deal that changes absolutely everything about how our data is protected. To prevent that exact nightmare scenario I just mentioned, India's third-largest IT giant, HCLTech, along with domestic startup Sarvam AI and the Odisha state government, just signed a massive historic deal. They are literally building a $1.48 billion sovereign AI fortress right in Bhubaneswar to guarantee that India's digital future remains firmly under Indian control. Okay, let's dive right into this and look at exactly how they plan to pull off such an enormous engineering feat, and more importantly, why it matters to you. Before we really get into it, here's a quick look at our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The $1.48 billion mega deal. 2. What is sovereign AI? 3. Building the AI engine. 4. How this affects you. And 5. India's digital independence. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the $1.48 billion mega deal, establishing the Sovereign AI Park. 14,257 crore rupees. When I first saw that number, it really put into perspective how seriously this is being taken. Backed by this massive capital outlay, which, by the way, includes direct financial assistance from the state government, this project marks one of the absolute largest sovereign AI infrastructure investments in the country's history. HCLTech, in a major strategic partnership with Sarvam and the government of Odisha, has officially announced the establishment of its first full-stack AI data center. And listen, this isn't just a basic building with some computers in it, okay? It's a dedicated fortress, designed from the ground up to handle the most intense computational workloads on the entire planet. But it's not just about building a massive data center. HCLTech is also setting up a brand new global delivery center right next to it in Bhubaneswar. So what does this actually mean in plain terms? It means the creation of over 5,000 direct, high-skilled tech jobs. That is a massive injection of capital and opportunity into the region. Instead of just buying equipment from overseas and calling it a day, they're building an entire ecosystem of human talent and cutting-edge hardware right there in eastern India. Moving right along to Section 2, what is sovereign AI? Let's demystify the technology. Let's step back for a minute and break down what this actually means. A standard data center is essentially just a massive warehouse filled with traditional computer servers. The ones that store your emails, hold your photos, or host basic websites. But an AI data center, that is a completely different beast. It is absolutely packed with high-performance graphics processing units, or GPUs, which are linked together by ultra-fast fiber optics. These facilities are incredibly intense. They require massive power grids and highly specialized liquid cooling systems. Why? Because training complex artificial intelligence models requires running trillions of mathematical calculations simultaneously. Honestly, you can think of it like the difference between a local mechanic's garage and a state-of-the-art Formula One engineering headquarters. Now, to understand why sovereign AI is driving global tech policy right now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine your family owns a thriving agricultural farm. For generations, you grew your crops, the raw wheat. But whenever you needed to grind your wheat into flour, you had to load it onto a truck, drive across the border into a neighboring kingdom, and pay their master miller to use his mill. For years, this worked fine. But one day, the neighboring king gets into a political dispute with your family. Overnight, he locks his border gates, hikes the milling prices by 500%, and demands to inspect every single sack of your private wheat. You'd instantly realize you made a massive mistake, right? You own the raw wheat. But because you don't own the processing mill, your family's food security is completely hostage to a foreign ruler. Well, in the digital world, our raw digital data is the wheat, and the AI compute infrastructure is that mill. Currently, most of the world's premier AI models and high-density GPU clusters are owned by a very small handful of American tech corporations based out in Silicon Valley. If an Indian bank, a hospital, or a government ministry routes your sensitive citizen data through those foreign servers, that data is suddenly subject to foreign laws, foreign price hikes, and foreign supply cuts. And that is exactly why Sovereign AI is the ultimate solution here. It means building the high-performance compute clusters, the data centers, and the foundational language models entirely inside our own borders, governed strictly by our local laws. It's the only way to ensure our national digital intelligence remains completely independent and secure from foreign surveillance or sudden international disputes. Which brings us to Section 3, building the AI engine and assembling this tech super team. Let me tell you, this corporate strategy is an absolute masterstroke. The official Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Odisha Chief Minister Mohan Charan Maji, HCLTech Chairperson Roshni Nadar Malhotra, CEO C. Vijayakumar, and Sarvam AI co-founder Pradyush Kumar wasn't just some ceremonial handshake for the cameras. It represents the execution of a massive, multi-step corporate plan. When I looked deeper into how this deal came together, it became crystal clear that this project isn't an isolated event, but part of a much larger, highly calculated blueprint. Just a few weeks ago, HCLTech made huge waves by pumping $150 million into Sarvam AI's Series B funding round, acting as the lead strategic investor. Now, why Sarvam? Because Sarvam AI has really emerged as the premier flagship of India's indigenous AI movement. See, standard Western AI models often struggle heavily with the nuances, grammar, and context of our local languages, mostly because they're trained almost exclusively on English data. Sarvam, on the other hand, specializes in building foundational language models trained natively on complex Indian languages, local cultural context, and regional dialects. This is what makes the technology actually useful for the average citizen. So this creates a brilliant cause and effect loop inside the Odisha Sovereign AI Park. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. Step 1. The government of Odisha provides the land, the specialized power infrastructure needed for those massive computers, and direct financial subsidies. Step 2, HCLTech brings in its massive balance sheet, its enterprise cloud expertise, and decades of data center management capabilities. And Step 3, Sarvam brings its custom-built Indian AI models. Together, they aren't just building a warehouse, they are building a full-stack AI engine. Instead of just renting out raw server space to Western clients, this facility will directly build and deploy localized, sector-specific AI tools right from the ground up. Furthermore, HCLTech is using this momentum to launch a global technology center right in Bhubaneswar. This two-phase rollout is projected to go live by 2028, creating thousands of local opportunities across the entire tech ecosystem. But what is really incredible here is that HCLTech explicitly announced partnerships with local Odisha universities and technical institutes. They're going to build specialized AI training curriculums. They aren't just building a factory, they are literally ensuring a direct talent pipeline from local college classrooms straight into cleanroom tech labs. Students will be learning the exact skills they need to walk out of graduation and straight into a high-paying AI engineering job. And honestly, this is a monumental signal for the market. This mega investment signals a major structural shift inside India's $315 billion IT services sector. For decades, Indian IT giants like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and HCLTech made their fortunes on traditional software outsourcing, taking routine coding and maintenance contracts from Western clients. But today, generative AI can actually do a lot of that basic repetitive software coding instantly. Because those traditional outsourcing margins are shrinking, HCLTech is proving that Indian IT is pivoting up the value chain. By entering full-stack AI infrastructure, building sovereign data centers, and backing local model makers, they are moving away from routine maintenance and jumping straight into high-margin, deep tech innovation. It's a real game changer. All right, let's look at Section 4, how this affects you. Jobs, language, and absolute privacy. So how does this massive deal actually alter your daily life, your career options, and your digital safety? First, let's talk about the massive shift in regional career opportunities. If you are a young tech graduate, an engineering student, or a data analyst living in Eastern India right now, this deal completely changes your life path. Historically, young talent from states like Odisha, Bihar, or Jharkhand felt forced to pack up their lives, leave their families, and migrate to distant tech hubs like Bangalore or Hyderabad just to find high-paying tech roles. But through HCLTech's New Vistas program, which actively expands high-tech hubs beyond traditional Tier 1 cities, Bhubaneswar is rapidly transforming into a major Eastern Silicon Valley. You can now build an elite career in advanced AI engineering right closer to home, bringing wealth and development directly into your own community. Second, there is going to be a direct improvement in everyday public services. Because Sarvam's models are engineered natively around Indian languages, the sovereign AI infrastructure built in Odisha will power the next generation of voice-based public services. Imagine a rural farmer or a local shopkeeper speaking in their native dialect, whether that's Odia, Hindi, Tamil, or Bengali, into a basic smartphone app. They will be able to receive instant, accurate AI assistance for agricultural subsidies, healthcare appointments, or government schemes without ever running into a language barrier or navigating complex paperwork. Think about how life-changing that is for millions of people who don't speak English. That is real-world impact that levels the playing field for absolutely everyone. And finally, Section 5, India's digital independence and securing the future. Ultimately, this news is about absolute data privacy and national sovereignty. Every single time you interact with a bank, a healthcare provider, or a government service powered by this sovereign AI facility, you can rest easy knowing your personal information is stored securely inside India. Your medical history and financial footprints are protected by Indian laws, and they are completely shielded from sudden international supply shocks or foreign interference. The alliance between HCLTech, Sarvam AI, and Odisha is a bold blueprint. It proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that India is ready to lead the global AI revolution on its own terms, building infrastructure that actually protects its citizens. Which brings us to a really critical question for all of you. Now that India is actively building its own sovereign AI infrastructure, do you think our government departments and private companies should be legally mandated to use domestic AI servers, or should they remain free to use foreign tech platforms like OpenAI? It is a massive debate about open free markets versus national security. I really want to know what you think, so leave your thoughts in the comments of this explainer. Thank you so much for joining me to decode this massive leap in technology, and I will see you in the next one.